I would like to say that the very transformation of the food systems that you are so much engaged in, and which is so grateful to the work that you have been carrying out, has a tremendous impact on the image of the activities related to the food sectors and beyond. Before, we used to think of agriculture as being the activity of the old, poor, rural populations. Today, with more investment, more research, more digitalization, more modernization, it is really gaining attractivity.
That explains the vision and the interest of the Malabo Montpellier panel, trying to get into the intricacies of what needs to be done, what can be done, what is working on the ground, and how we can move the needle in so many different areas.
We know, of course, that the Malabo Montpellier panel report, Trading Up, had a lot of suggestions about what kinds of policies would be particularly relevant for the continent.
Everybody around the world talking about the concept of food systems and how to develop sustainable food systems. So how do we make Africa's food systems more nutritious?
You have to, first of all, shift mindsets. And I think there are some real problematic mindsets in this space around women's empowerment. Rebalance resources towards women. They will grow the pie for everybody, men and women.
In your view, what are the main challenges to expanding in the irrigation in Africa and doing it in a sustainable way?
One of the things that we notice is number one, the size of the farms. Number two, there is the issue around the tenure and land ownership, which then translates into how much investment can actually be put into irrigation.
Obviously, if you increase the productivity of a grower, that opens up new opportunities up the supply chain.
We recognize the crucial role of the private sector in agriculture transformation. And there's the reason why for each version, now we are on the fourth version of our strategic plan, we always give a primary role on the private sector to contribute to agriculture transformation.
In South Africa's agricultural economy, livestock is by far the biggest of the three sub-sectors. In the livestock sector, smallholder farmers make up to 40% of the total number of live animals. For now, we can proudly report that smallholder livestock farmers in South Africa are already making inroads into the mainstream of the agricultural sector.
It is important that we talk about climate change, which is an existential challenge, not just in the agri-food sector, but for the global economy.
With regards to what the bank is doing, I think what was very important is to have a climate change action plan, so it is easy to mainstream climate change related activities into all the projects.
CAADP has really been a very strong instrument that has shaped and brought almost 55 member states into the same framework. And thanks to the government, and I'm really happy that over 20 heads of states directly get involved and even speaking at the Food Systems Summit.
Green Morocco Plan was considered the drive to transform our agriculture into a globally competitive, inclusive, and business-oriented sector that creates wealth, generates gainful employment, and improves livelihood.
Some of the lessons we've learned with those regional economic communities in terms of boosting into intra-regional trade are, for example, fast-tracking the trade facilitation arrangement at the REX level. And then by adapting those lessons, African government can accelerate the progress towards the targets that are set under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
We need to have clarity on what is the problem we want to solve for. And for me, agriculture is one of the most complicated economic segments in any country in the world. we need to now begin to implement open data standards and open data frameworks. Because in agriculture, you see a lot of duplication of efforts.
Africa's rural areas and smallholder farmers in particular could greatly benefit from access to new technologies and reliable data that would help them make more informed decisions, but to go beyond just data and sharing of information, but to ensure that we have smart policy regimes that can put in place data infrastructure and digital infrastructure.
I think it's really important that government understands that when they're formulating energy policy, they should think of agriculture, ICT as well. And when they're formulating agriculture policy, they should think about energy inputs as well.
The true costs of food need to be identified and considered. These costs of health and of environmental damage, of food systems that are not well functioning, must come down everywhere, also in Africa. The benefits of a sustainable, efficient food system that delivers on the Sustainable Development Goals need to be enhanced.
I see our Malabo Montpellier Forum as a premier platform in 5 years from now. That plays a major role to make the food systems function very well in our mother continent, Africa.